The January 12th, 2022 meeting of the Town of Southampton Conservation Board. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the Chapter 417 of the laws of 2021, until January 15th, 2022, all of the board's meetings are expected to be held remotely via video conference. So we ask the public to continually check the town's website for updates and new information. And after tonight, continually check, because we don't know what the governor will decide after January 15th. As a reminder, applicants, agents, and members of the public who speak at the meeting should state their name and address for the record. The link to participate in this meeting via Zoom can be found on the town's website at the town clerk's meeting portal. If you do not wish to speak at the meeting, but you would like to submit comments for the public record, the link to submit comments can also be found on the town's website. Please join together for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, Tom. We're just beginning. The first order of business is, what is your pleasure on the minutes of December 22, 2021?
Motion to accept as written or amended.
Second.
All in favor? Harry, I. Tom, R.
Aye.
Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom, F. Sunshine?
Aye.
Okay, Tom F., I saw your hand go up. I know you approved it, but you're muted.
Hi, sorry, I was having trouble with my audio.
Okay. Public hearings, A021015, 172 MP Road LLC. Who is there an agent for this one, Marty?
Yeah, Nayran Talal.
Coming in
should
now.
be with
He's
us.
coming in now.
Okay.
Hi, this is Steve Naroda with Aris Design, landscape architect with Aris Design. On behalf of the applicant, I'm here for Mayron as well. Just wanted to let you know I'm here. We have updated and revised a buffer plan based on comments we've received from Marty's office. We've recently received a updated as-built survey, which we prepared an updated plan on. We've received comments from Marty Shea on what needs to be accomplished to satisfy some of the removals that occurred on the property. And I'm happy to pull up the plan if need be to show you where we are. Would you like me to pull it up?
Yeah.
Sure. Let me pull up my screen here.
Karina, you were doing something there.
I have the last revision date that you sent us on Tuesday. So if you have something newer, Steve, that you want to show, you can share your screen.
No, Karina, that's we submitted on
Okay.
earlier this week. So that's the most recent at this point.
Okay, I can share it if that's
Okay.
easier for you.
Sure.
Okay. January 11th. So this is the survey. Sorry, I didn't realize it was enough. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Can you zoom in a little bit closer with that, Karina, to make it bigger? Maybe one more click.
Okay. How's that?
That's better. Okay, so is there something you want to talk about on this one to show the update?
From our end, this is the updated survey. One thing that Marty has pointed out in his review that it does need to be upgraded to show the drainage structures that were installed on site. So Mr. Brelsky is working on that to prepare that. There are some other items where the dock that runs parallel to the shoreline is to be removed. The dock that runs perpendicular to the shoreline is to be upgraded to a through flow decking to allow a light penetration. And any fencing and hedge material will be removed out of the buffer. And that's all reflected on our updated revegetation plan.
Okay. So do you still have some work to do on the revegetation plan?
So when we made the submission to Mari Shea's office on Monday of this week, he did promptly provide us some comments and some thoughts that we need to respond to. The client is well prepared to accommodate and make these changes. One of the bigger issues was there was a removal of a large tree, I guess prior to or during construction, and something that Mr. Shea and I discussed on Monday about how to reclaim that canopy. We were originally proposing some Nyssa sylvatica and Amelanchier canadensis trees to be planted in its place. And Mr. Shea did respond and say that he would rather some larger material. So Nyssa sylvatica and some maple trees as well would be implemented. So with the comments we've received from Marty, we have a very good roadmap of where we need to take this plan. I think he did want a little bit more robust planting along the shoreline as well, because there was a existing thicket of plantings that was there that we are, so we're looking to naturalize that a little more. So
Okay.
we
All right,
feel
thank you.
very clear. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Marty, do you have comments?
Good evening. I'm Marty Shea, Chief Environmental Analyst for the town. The application is before you in order to legalize various residential improvements that were completed at a property that has frontage on Lake Nowidona or Mill Pond. There is a preliminary advisory report on file dated November 1st. 2021. This application had initially been filed almost a year ago when the owner was considering various changes and renovations to the existing dwelling and the accessory decks and driveway. Their application was deemed incomplete. At some point during the summer of last year, they proceeded to commence some of the construction changes without the requisite permits. As indicated, they had also cut and removed a very large mature tree along the shoreline. The local neighborhood had made us aware that despite the need for permits, the tree cutting and construction work had commenced. Subsequently, notice violation and stop work order were issued by the town. However, the landowner opted to proceed with and complete the construction, notwithstanding the notice violation stop work order. With regards to the extent of work that was done at the site, the advisory report provides details, but essentially the existing dwelling was renovated. They also reconfigured and reconstructed decks and stairs. There was an unauthorized hot tub at the site that since has been removed. Now, shower and pergola were installed. And then there were modifications made to the front entry and the drive as well. As was indicated by Steve, at some point, a thicket of wetland shrubs were also cut along the immediate shoreline. In order to offset the wetland impacts of the work that's been completed, I came forward with a recommended buffer plan that calls for establishment of a covenanted wetland preservation area along the shore, establishment of a restored naturally vegetated wetland, non-disturbance, non-fertilization buffer. The applicant has agreed with those buffer recommendations, and as indicated by Steve, we're in the process of finalizing the survey and native revegetation plan. In addition to my recommendation that larger trees be planted staggered across the pond side of the property, I've also asked that unauthorized fence lines and hedge lines that encroach in that buffer be removed, which the applicant has agreed to. With regards to the construction modifications, notwithstanding that the work was done prior to obtaining the requisite wetland and building permits, I don't see a need for any changes to the completed construction. The majority of it was done generally within the footprint of the existing residence, and the buffer which will be established coupled with the native revegetation will offset the wetland impacts. So as indicated to Steve, the applicant and I are very close to finalizing the survey and recommended a restoration plan for the pond front. As indicated, the buffer would be covenanted to ensure its permanence, and it would replace an existing lawn. There are several remaining large trees on the water side of the residence, which would be preserved as part of the reclamation. So through this process, there's been a lot of communication back and forth between my office and the applicant. And as indicated, the applicant has agreed to the recommended wetland impact mitigation measures. I understand that there may be a few members of the public, local residents who would like the opportunity to speak at this hearing tonight.
Thank you, Marty. Does the board have any comments, any questions? Okay. Charlie, do you see anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Anybody with a hand up?
Yes, I do. Steve Abramson.
Okay, so you
He's
can
coming
bring him in.
He's coming in.
The applicant would also like to speak, Mayor, if you see him, Charlie.
What's the name?
Let me see what he signed up with. The
Perhaps.
email address is,
Steve, you can't decline, you have to accept. If you want to speak, you have to accept.
Do you hear me okay?
Yeah, put your video on.
Got it
There you
on.
go. There
Okay.
you go.
Thank you. This is Steve Abramson. I chair the Mill Pond Association, which is the environmental association for remediation and restoration of Mill Pond. I think you all know that it's a sensitive body of water that has a lot of algal bloom problems. And it's most essential, according to all of the limnologists who've been involved, to make sure that along the shorelines that we preserve, maintain, and add to buffers so that they will draw up the nutrients of phosphorus and nitrogen that otherwise would be available to the body of water through groundwater. I'm sitting here with Steve Lerner, who sits just to the west of the property. And Steve, I think, wanted to make some specific comments to this, but I wanted to thank Marty Shea for being on top of this, because what happened there in terms of nuding that property and taking down some exquisitely large tupelos, for example, that would have absorbed a tremendous amount of phosphorus and nitrogen each year was just unfortunate, to say the least. And the same thing with regard to the disregard of and removal of vegetation along the shoreline. But Steve has some questions or comments.
I also want to thank Marty for being on top of this. I have a question with regard to one of the recommendations is the removal of the bamboo. And I would like to know who's going to oversee the removal of the bamboo. It's one thing to cut down bamboo. It's another thing to really truly remove it via the root system. The root system from that property comes into my buffer. Every year I have to work diligently, assiduously to cut, not down the plant, but try to get the tubers and go all the way back towards the applicant's property. So who's going to oversee that?
So I can speak on that. That was one of the initial recommendations in my advisory report, that the existing bamboo on the property, which runs along a side lot, be removed. I believe I can speak for the applicant in that I think the applicant would be amenable to removing that bamboo. Obviously, it's a somewhat labor-intensive process. You not only have to cut and remove the visible material, but you got to kind of sift through the soil in order to remove any remaining rootlets and rhizomes. In cases such as this, where my office recommends bamboo removal, and it is a condition on the permit, my office works closely with the landscaper who is charged with undertaking that work. Typically involves several site visits and sometimes repeated cleanups in order to ensure that the work is done properly. We had a recent case on Big Fresh Pond where virtually the entire lot was covered with bamboo, and we had required bamboo removal, and the reclamation was very successful. So I'm most willing to oversee that work and ensure that that get integrated into the buffer restoration and reclamation plan.
Thank you.
Marty, in that bamboo removal, would it be absolutely necessary to dig down? Sometimes it takes going down 2 or 3 feet to get those rhizomes. Would it work to do a similar style of remediation as is done when phragmites are removed, to do it by wearing down the root system by regular pruning of the above ground portions?
Yeah, actually, in this case, while the area of bamboo is indeed encroaching on the next lot, it's not actually that large of an area. So my preference in this case would be actually to remove as much of the vegetative material as possible. I'm optimistic that that can be done on this property. What some landowners have to do is to hire bamboo removal specialists who have a lot of experience in how to do this properly. The work is done without the use of herbicides, somewhat labor intensive, but it's not that large of an area. So in this case, I would recommend removal of all of the vegetative material, inclusive of the rhizomes and root systems.
Is there anyone else in the public who'd like to speak?
Yes, the applicant is trying to join right now.
Meeting passcode? Whoa, what is it?
Can you hear the applicant on my phone, Harry?
Yes.
You
Karina,
can, you can speak, they can hear you.
oh, okay, I got to, I'm trying to join the meeting. And it's asking me for a meeting passcode and email address.
They can hear you now. So if you want to go ahead and speak
Okay.
to the board.
No, I'm just listening. Right now I'm listening. Steve said pretty much what I wanted to say. But I just wanted to make sure that the board members know that I'm listening to this, and I'm pretty much, hello?
Yes.
Did I lose you? No. Okay, all right. So now I see them. All right, now let's see. Good evening. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
They can hear you now.
All right, great. Now just Steve said pretty much what I wanted to say. To make sure that the board members know that I'm listening to this, and I'm pretty much, yeah. Did I lose you? No.
Sounds like we're in a loop.
Okay, all right. So now I see them. All right, now let's see. Good evening. Can everybody hear you? Yeah.
I can't understand them.
Yeah. All right.
So Karina, can you hear him?
Yes, I can hear him.
Now I just
Is
hear
there-
mumbling.
Can you just relay to him, ask him if there's anything he wants to add to the record? If he doesn't need to, but if not, then we're prepared to close the hearing.
Okay, Mayran?
Yeah.
The board would like to know if there's anything that you would like to add to the record. If not, they're prepared to close the hearing.
No, that is fine. I just wanted to, and Marty and I had many communications on this. Just wanted to let the board members know that there were many items that were claimed to be, sort of like the outdoor spa and those items were removed from the property, and in a very architectural way, the property is much cleaner before. I'm not talking about the Marty's area, but just around the house has been cleaned up very much to our standards. So that's it. Other than that, that falls in Steve's court and Marty.
Okay.
Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you. Charlie, is there anyone else with their hand up?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to close the hearing?
Motion to close the hearing.
Second,
All in favor? Harry, I. Ann?
aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F.
Aye.
Tom R.
Aye.
Sunshine?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
The next hearing is A020037, Michael Norrie, the applicant requests adjournment to 2/9/22. Is there anyone in the public with their hand up on this one, Charlie?
No. No. No
Is there a
hands.
motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn that?
Second.
All in favor? Harry, I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F.
Aye.
Tom R.
Aye.
Sunshine?
Aye.
And the last one is A0210541199 George and Lane LLC. The applicant requests an adjournment to 1/26/22. Charlie, is anyone there with their hand up?
No.
Mr. Chairman, this is a new application, and we did receive affidavits of posting and mailing. So the board does have jurisdiction to open the hearing and adjourn if the board is so inclined.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Been moved and seconded, and all in favor, Harry, I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F.
Aye.
Tom R.
Aye.
Sunshine?
Aye.
Advisory reports for planning board, Stephen Perone.
This is a pending subdivision application that's in the pre-application stage. It relates to a track in Hampton Bays with frontage on Old Canoe Place Road, South Valley Road, and to the north you have the Long Island Railroad. What we're looking at right now is just the southerly portion of the track. In the northerly part, two additional lots would be created. As you can see, there are existing residential improvements at this site. Portions of the track are wooded and are characterized by steep slopes and glacial kettle holes. This is an area that has recently been impacted by southern pine beetle, but I do expect those areas to recover over time. So the advisory report first speaks to the setting of the property, the value of the existing pine oak forest, notwithstanding the effects of the southern pine beetle, indicates that those woodlands are critical as watershed catchment areas for drinking water aquifer, as well as for the proximate estuaries, including the Peconic and the Shinnecock Bay. The advisory report also indicates that the property provides essential buffering for the railroad corridor, which, as this board knows, serves as a major gateway to the town. The recommended advisory comments then requests that a slope analysis map be prepared, as there are slopes in excess of 15% along the eastern portion of the tract. There is a recommendation that the eastern steeply sloped woodlands be preserved through a 100-foot wide conservation easement, and also that a 50 feet wide scenic easement be established along the railroad corridor. There is also a northerly trail whose location and route needs to be noted on the map in the interest of preservation. We also recommended that for the northerly lots that some consideration be given to creating a common drive easement in order to lessen impacts to the terrain and the existing large trees. The board will have further opportunity to comment on this subdivision in the future.
Is there a motion to send those comments to the planning board?
Yeah, motion is
Sunshine, you moved. Is there a second?
second.
Second.
All in favor? Harry, I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F.
Aye.
Tom R.
Aye.
Sunshine?
Aye.
And advisory reports for the ZBA, Fabio Dano.
So as the board likely recalls, this is a pending variance application for a property that did receive a conservation board permit and a modified permit as well in order to demolish existing dwelling and construct a new residence. In the interest of betterment of the wetland buffer and setbacks, as well as to maintain scenic views, the applicant had decided to site the new shed on the roadside of the residence rather than the seaward side. Essentially in the location of the pre-existing shed. The applicant is having to obtain a variance in order to construct that shed. The comments indicate that the survey, which is pending before the Zoning Board of Appeals, has been approved by the Conservation Board.
Is there a motion to send these comments to ZBA?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Harry, I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F.
Aye.
Tom R.
Aye.
Sunshine?
Aye.
The next is Wayne Wetland.
This application relates to an existing residentially developed property in the hamlet of Shinnecock Hills that has frontage on a pond associated with Mill Pond. I had issued an administrative wetland permit in order to allow the landowner to elevate the existing residence, as well as to construct an addition, porches and decks. The relief is needed from the Zoning Board of Appeals for some of that construction. The plans that are pending before the Zoning Board are essentially consistent with the survey that I have approved. However, the Suffolk County Department of Health Services had required that the innovative alternative on-site wastewater treatment system be reconfigured. So there were no issues with that. However, the advisory report indicates that the landowner will need to obtain a modified administrative wetland permit in order to allow him to go forward with those modified IA plans.
Is there a motion to send these comments to the ZBA?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Harry, I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F?
Aye.
Tom R?
Aye.
Sunshine?
Aye.
And 210 LLC.
This is a pending variance application for a property in Hampton Bays, which was the subject of a wetland jurisdictional determination on part of the board at our last meeting. The landowner is constructing a large detached garage, which needs relief from the zoning board. So the advisory comments just indicate that the property contains wetlands, and it reports that the board had issued a resolution to issue a letter of non-jurisdiction for the construction, and that the letter of non-jurisdiction was subsequently issued on December 23rd, 2021.
Is there a motion to send these comments to the ZBA?
So
Motion to
moved.
send the
So
comments.
moved.
All in favor? Harry, I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F?
Aye.
Tom R?
Aye.
Sunshine?
Aye.
Administrative wetland permits are in your packets. And the next is the decision for A021034, Martin Vidgefinkel and Juliet Jalema. And I believe Jim Burke is here.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Good evening, board members. We've been, I know it's been a continuing saga for many years, but I also have had recent conversations with both our outside counsel, Scott Krebman, and Mike Walsh, who is I was, as you know, the representative for the landowner. I think things are going closer and closer to resolving this matter. He asked if we could put it over for one more time, and he would submit a plan to be reviewed by Marty in the town and the board as well, and see if we could finally resolve this matter. So he's asking for put it off for the next meeting, available meeting.
Okay, so we need to adjourn this for one more meeting.
Yes.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Is that January 26th?
January 26th, yes.
Okay, motion to adjourn to January 26th.
Second that.
Second.
All in favor? I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F?
Aye.
Tom R?
Aye.
Sunshine?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, board. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. That's not true.
And resolution of conditional approval, A021068 Acres SPV REO LLC. Any discussion?
Move to issue.
Second.
Resolve that a conditional wetland permit approval be granted to Acres SPV REO LLC for the proposed project upon the terms and conditions set forth therein. All in favor? Harry, I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F?
Aye.
Tom R?
Aye.
Sunshine?
Aye.
A021080 Acres SPV REO LLC. Any discussion?
No.
Move to issue.
Second.
Second.
Resolve that a conditional wetland permit approval be granted to Acres SPV REO LLC for the proposed project on the terms and conditions of both therein. All in favor, Harry, I, Ann,
Aye.
Jerry,
Aye.
Tom F,
Aye.
Tom R,
Aye.
Sunshine,
Aye.
and preliminary review of secret determination A021003 Joshua Field and Paula Field.
This application relates to an existing residentially developed property on Lake Drive in the hamlet of North Sea. The property has frontage on Fresh Pond. There are tidal wetlands alongside Fresh Pond. And then there is a block and a corridor of both tidal and freshwater wetlands on the budding property to the west that extends up close to the existing residence. The application was filed in order to redevelop the property, notwithstanding the close proximity of the new residence to the wetlands on the abutting lot. To the west, the applicant has already downsized the extent of construction on the site consistent with our recommendations. The new residence would be located in a manner that's consistent with a residence that you just issued a permit for that abuts the subject property on the east. Because there's a need for significant relief from the wetland construction setbacks, what you're seeing before you is a recommended wetland impact mitigation plan that calls for maximizing the buffer on the site, which would take in greater than 50% of the property. The plan calls for removal of existing lawns and fence lines and reclamation of that area to native vegetation. All of the deck work at the property would be completed using untreated wood. The new residents would have an IAOW-TS. Accordingly, this is an application for which we have sufficient information to make a determination. As such, I'm recommending that the hearing requirement be waived.
Motion to waive hearing.
Second.
All in favor, Harry, I, Ann,
Aye.
Jerry,
Aye.
Tom F,
Aye.
Tom R, and Sunshine.
Aye.
A021012 Harvey Ross.
This is a property located in the hamlet of West Hampton. There is a preliminary advisory report on file dated January 4, 2022. The application had been filed in order to legalize various improvements that were made at the site without requisite wetland and building permits. Namely the conversion of a significant portion of the basement to living area. The pre-existing deck also needed to be reconstructed. It was also extended to include a hot tub. And there were various other utility and hardscape improvements which occurred at the site as well. Property is mostly bulkheaded, but in the northwest corner, you see an area of natural shoreline and tidal cord grasses that comes into the property. There was some disturbance of that area in years past through installation of fencing and silt lines and rock. The applicant has agreed to remove that material and restore that area, and has also agreed to establish a covenanted naturally vegetated wetland non-disturbance, non-fertilization buffer that would extend 50 feet landward of the bulkhead and the wetlands in the northwest corner. Consistent with my recommendations, the applicant is also installing an IAOW-TS. The landowner has also come forward with a native revegetation plan. The buffer would be established by covenant. So this is an application for which we have sufficient information to make a determination. As such, recommending that the hearing requirement be waived.
Motion to waive the public hearing?
Second.
Resolved that the Town Conservation Board hereby waives the public hearing requirement pursuant to Chapter 325, Section 325-80 of the Town Code. All in favor, Harry, I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F?
Aye.
Tom R?
Aye.
And Sunshine.
Aye.
A02-1092, the Dominique Levy Gift Trust.
This application relates to a property on Pond Meadow Lane in the hamlet of Bridgehampton. There is a preliminary advisory report on file dated January 10, 2022. The property abuts the Sag Swamp system. The application was filed in order to undertake very minor accessory improvements to the south of the existing swimming pool and spa. There is an existing changing and powder room, which would be removed and replaced with a small pool house, essentially in the same footprint. That is an area of the property where the buffer has already been maximized and fully restored. And the existing buffer is sufficient to offset any impacts related to the new construction. For the board's information, and as discussed in the advisory report, this is a property that has a history of wetland approvals that permitted various additions to the existing residence as required. The landowner is in the process of finalizing installation of two IAOWTS systems on the property in order to reduce impacts in terms of nitrogen inputs. Previously, when I had been to the property, there were unauthorized deer fences that encroached in the wetlands and the required buffer. I was just at the property in the past week, and all of those fence lines have been removed so that the buffer and adjacent wetlands are continuous and open. So this is an application for we have sufficient information to make a determination. As such, recommending that the hearing requirement be waived.
Motion to waive the public hearing?
Second.
Resolved that the Town Conservation Board hereby waives the public hearing requirement pursuant to Chapter 325, Section 325-80 of the Town Code. All in favor, Harry, I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F?
Aye.
Tom R?
Aye.
Sunshine.
Aye.
A02-1095, Mary Quattroche and Morley Quattroche.
This application relates to an existing bulkheaded residentially developed property that has frontage on Smith Creek. There is a preliminary advisory report on file dated January 5, 2022. As you can see along the waterfront, the landowner had constructed at-grade deck along the water side without the requisite wetland permit. There are questions that have arisen with regards to overlapping town and trustees' jurisdiction. So I have asked the applicant to make application to the trustees to see if they are going to take jurisdiction with regards to permitting or any modifications to that deck, and to wait on their determination before coming back to the board. So there is a resolution before you to schedule a hearing. The applicant has asked that that hearing be scheduled for April in order to give them sufficient time to discuss the matter and potentially bring the issue to resolution with the Board of Trustees.
Is there a motion to schedule a hearing for April 13th, 2022?
So moved.
Second.
Resolved that the Town Conservation Board hereby schedules a public hearing for April 13th, 2022, and the notice of public hearing be published in the Town Gazette newspaper pursuant to Chapter 322, pursuant to Chapter 325, Section 325-8C of the Town Code. All in favor? Harry, I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F.
Aye.
Tom R.
Aye.
Sunshine?
Aye.
Easement interpretation application R02-10306, Robert C. Latiro and Caitlin Latiro.
This application relates to an existing residentially developed property on White Oak Lane in the hamlet of Tuckahoe that's currently encumbered by a covenanted wetland non-disturbance, non-fertilization buffer. There is a technical report on file dated January 5, 2022. The landowner had initially submitted a lot inspection application so that I could go out and assess the current conditions to see whether or not the portion of the property that was formerly designated as wetland still meets the statutory definition based on vegetation dominance. I looked at that area and could find a very minimal wetland indicative vegetation. As such, I issued a letter of non-jurisdiction to let the applicant go forward with installation of fencing on the property, but I also indicated that if they wanted to seek relief from that existing covenant, which they're currently in compliance with, they would need to submit an easement interpretation application so that they could seek a majority plus one vote on part of the board to file an amended covenant in order to remove or negate the restrictions on this property. So in addition to the technical report, which supports the filing of an amended covenant to remove these restrictions, you do have a resolution before you in order to allow the landowner to go forward with drafting an amended covenant for review by the town attorney's office, which would provide relief from those formerly imposed restrictions and no longer place restrictions on the property due to the absence of regulated wetlands today.
Marty, I have a question on that.
Yes.
So there were regulated wetlands historically. And approximately where were they located? Which
They were
part of the-
located on the northerly property line, close to that adjacent residence. The contours in that portion of the property are lower. There are some scattered wetland plants, but the area has transitioned significantly to drier habitat, so that it no longer meets the statutory definition of wetlands. Nor based on my field assessment do I feel that the conditions are likely to reverse. Meaning that my expectation is that the habitat will continue to remain as a dry upland habitat. There are no other wetlands within 200 feet of this property. So the amendment to the covenant would also result in me removing the property from the town's wetland parcel list, so that there will no longer be a need to apply for wetland permits. So the amendment, because there are no longer wetlands on this property, the amended covenant would be consistent with Chapter 325 and would not result in any adverse wetland impacts. So again, there is a resolution before you in order to allow the applicant to go forward with drafting an amended covenant for review by the town attorney's office and recording with the Suffolk County clerk in order to negate and remove the restrictions that currently require that a significant portion of the property remain in natural vegetation. The buffer that was required extended essentially 75 feet landward of the wetlands. So that's the reason why the northerly half of the property is wooded, because it is currently in compliance with that covenant. Upon recording of the amended covenant, that would allow them to expand upon the existing improvements and clear out some of those areas for the purposes of additional lawn and landscape.
So when you inspected that, did you see any activities that may have caused that reduction in wetland species?
Yeah, the one activity that I saw is that there has been a significant invasion by maiden grasses, which may have played a role not only in choking out some of the pre-existing wetland vegetation, but may have also created through the successive dead plant material actually raised up the grade a bit in that area. I also think that the construction that occurred on the adjacent property that actually predates the wetland law, the modifications in terms of contours on that property likely changed the drainage patterns, also affecting the hydrology of this area. The wetland area was actually quite small. So it's not like this has a history of very significant wetlands.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion to grant this resolution?
Move.
Second.
Resolve that approval be granted to Robert C. Laturio, Caitlin Laterio to amend the terms and conditions of covenant recorded with the Suffolk County Clerk on November 9th, 2000, under the Lieber 12083, page 651. All in favor, and just a reminder, we need a majority plus one. All in favor, Harry, I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F.
Aye.
Tom R.
Aye.
Sunshine?
Aye.
And resolution issue modification, CB 20013, MIR Noyak Realty LLC, and the applicant wishes to postpone till the next meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, Harry, I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F.
Aye.
Tom R.
Aye.
Sunshine?
Aye.
CB 21020, John McNerney and Angela McNerney. Resolution modification.
This wetland permit modification application relates to a residentially developed property in Shinnecock Shores. The board had recently issued a permit for various residential improvements. As part of that, the board had authorized 110 square feet of screened porch. The applicant is simply looking to enclose that porch. However, the porch would remain separate from the dwelling itself. That is, it would not become a living area, and it's in the exact same footprint as indicated on the survey before you. The Conservation Board permit that had been issued required that the buffer be maximized. Not only did it ask that native vegetation be planted, but that a very large tree be preserved. So this is a very minimal change to an authorized structural footprint that's not going to result in any new adverse impacts to wetlands. So there is a resolution before you in order to approve those requested modifications in order to allow for glass enclosure of that screen porch.
Is there a motion to approve resolution to modify?
So moved. Second.
Resolved that a wetlands permit modification be issued to John McNerney and Angela McNerney for the proposed project. Fourth therein. All in favor, Harry, I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F.
Aye.
Tom R.
Aye.
Aye.
And that is the end of the agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, Harry, I. Ann?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Tom F.
Aye.
Tom R.
Aye.
Sunshine?
Aye.
Thank you all.
All right.
Have a good night.
Everyone have a good night.
The
Happy
next-
New Year.
Now, just before you go, the next